Welcome to
Cucumbersome,
a show about struggling to eat your veggies and other wellness woes. I'm Amanda.
and I'm impressed that we actually nailed the Cucumbersome intro. I'm Brendan.
So this week we actually made a plan and we stuck to it, which is more than I could say for any of the past weeks.
Big wow.
So, yeah, big wow. And we also wanted to chat with you guys today about some of the food from our grocery haul last week. We'd gotten a bunch of stuff that we'd never eaten before, and we thought we might share our thoughts on the stuff that we tried. So, you want to dive right in?
Yeah, let's hit them with some of the cool stuff we ate and maybe kind of our first edition of Rotten Potatoes.
Da-na-na-na. I don't know what that I don't know what that was. So, if you listened to last week's episode, you'll know that we kind of went ham at the grocery store last week on some new vegan products that we hadn't tried before. So, let's rate them, shall we?
Absolutely.
All right. So, first up, it was a brand called Alpha, and they had chicken patties, which used to be a staple for us. We used to get like the Boca chicken patties. And so I was thinking, like it's probably like your standard frozen veggie chicken patty, but I was wrong. Like 10 out of 10, big wow.
Yeah, these were fantastic. I know we haven't tried like a bunch of different vegan chicken patties. We had been pretty dedicated, I guess you could say, to the Boca chicken patties, and these were a notable improvement. Texture was spot on.
Yeah, like they're like thicker and like juicier.
Yeah, that was always my one complaint with the Boca chicken patties. I always thought that they tasted fine, but I was not a fan of the fact that they're basically like little hockey puck, like compressed wedges of chicken substitute.
Yeah, and depending on how you cook them, they could dry out and like they would get like hard.
Yeah,
and, like, tough.
There was a very like fine margin of error for those.
Yeah. My only complaint about these is that for whatever reason, they come in a package of 3.
That was confusing. I never understand any products that come in odd numbers. I don't know why. That's just always like...
Well, it's just we usually eat 2 each, so I was like... And I didn't look to see how many were in the package, because I guess I assumed that there were 4 or, at least an even number.
Yeah.
And when I didn't realize that until we were about to make them. And I was like, oh, who's going to eat the cat shit on this one and just have one? And it was you. So thanks for that.
Yeah. I can't remember what it was, but I had eaten something shortly beforehand as well. So, it kind of bridged the gap. The upside, though, or I guess not upside, but balancing factor to the fact that they came in a package of 3 is that the price per patty came out to the same as the Boca patties.
And yeah, I think the package was $2.99 for the 3.
Yeah, so any way you cut it between these and the Boca chicken patties, it's coming out to about $1 per patty. And these are definitely a lot more satisfying.
Get more bang for your buck.
Yeah, 100%. I definitely recommend these. Are we definitely calling these a 10 out of 10?
I would like to call them a 10 out of 10. You can have your own rating if you want.
Yeah, I would say specifically in the realm of chicken patties, of the ones that we've had so far, I would safely say that these are a 10 out of 10.
All right. So moving on, we also tried the Sweet Earth brand Chipotle Seitan crumbles.
Mm-hmm.
And I personally was not wowed.
Yeah, I liked these quite a bit, but it wasn't the revelation I was expecting for, because just Chipotle stuff in general hits a very specific spot for me. I absolutely love Chipotle stuff.
Yeah.
or like chorizo style stuff, which I figured chipotle seitan, I was expecting it to be, a chorizo type product. And
Yeah. I didn't really think it was spicy.
yeah,
Or it didn't really have like any kick to it.
yeah, we will be getting into the recipe that we use for these in a little bit. In the context of this recipe, maybe it's the combination that we did, but the flavor of the seitan didn't quite stand out to me. It was very easily masked by all the other things in the recipe, which were simple ingredient things. It's not like there was any other
Well, I wasn't
explosive
even going to bother
flavors.
talking about what we made it in. We just made burrito bowls and we put it in there with like rice and beans and corn. And
Yeah,
then
these just didn't quite cut through the mix though the way I was expecting.
yeah,
They were good, but
I thought they tasted exactly like the benevolent bacon, which Sweet Earth also makes. Like it was just like if you ripped up a bunch of benevolent bacon, like
yeah, I'd
that would
say
have, which I love the benevolent bacon, don't get me wrong. Like the flavor is good. It's just it wasn't what I thought it was going to be.
I wouldn't buy a package of benevolent bacon, fry it up, and then crumble up and call it Chipotle.
Yeah, and
And
put
that's
it in a
kind
burrito
of
bowl.
yeah, and that's kind of what this was.
Yeah.
So
So
good for what it is, but it wasn't, there wasn't like a wow factor or anything like that. It was good.
6 potatoes.
Yes, 6 potatoes. This is not a rotten potato, not quite a fresh potato. This one's got like a couple eyes growing
Yeah,
on it.
it's a little sprouty.
Yeah.
Next up is the Just Egg, which we've had before, but
Yes.
I thought it was worth mentioning because one of the first times we tried it was when it first, not maybe not when it first came out, but when stores around us first started carrying it.
Yeah.
And I remember there was one time we bought it and I forgot to, I normally will put like salt and pepper and whatever else, like what is it? Umami powder, because we
Yes.
put that shit in everything. Um, and I forgot to put salt in it, and I remember like throwing it out because I'm dramatic like that, and if I don't like something, I can't eat it.
Yeah, I remember the first time that we had the Just Egg. I didn't throw it out, but I did have to kind of force it down. It the flavor was fine. For me personally, the texture seemed a little bit more rubbery the first time around, and also, it just didn't have as much flavor this time. I definitely feel like both the taste and the texture definitely seemed improved. I don't know if they actually did change their recipe or if we just prepared it better,
Yeah,
but
whatever the case, it was definitely. And to be clear, this is the like the one in the liquid in the bottle and
yeah,
not the
not the
folded
folded egg. We
egg.
don't have those available near us yet.
Oh, I keep forgetting to look because I feel like they're like in the frozen section,
Oh,
I
yeah, it
think,
might be somewhere else in
and
the store.
I don't know if I just haven't looked in the right place or if they actually don't carry them.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah, yeah.
um, yeah, so we would call this at this point. We would call Just Egg at this point. It's pretty fresh, right?
Definitely fresh.
10 out
Uh,
of 10.
yeah,
10 potatoes.
when it comes to egg substitutes, absolutely 10 out of 10. There have been no other like pre-prepared or store bought egg substitutes that I've really liked so far. Pretty much the only other egg substitute I like is the like homemade tofu scrambles,
Yeah.
and this obviously is a bit more convenient, easy to just throw in the pan, and flavors on point. uh Long story short, 10 out of 10. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you could present that to somebody who's open-minded about trying vegetarian or vegan food and they would appreciate it.
Yeah, especially if you were to prepare it as, say, an omelet with some shredded vegan cheese or some meat substitutes or spinach, whatever you traditionally throw into an omelet. If you prepared this with the accoutrement, this would definitely maybe not trick, but impress some
Yeah,
people
or
that
even
are.
if you put it in, say, like a sandwich, like a egg and cheese
Yeah,
kind of sandwich kind of situation.
that's how I always wind up eating mine. Whenever we do the just egg, I throw it on bread with whatever other things we're eating for breakfast, hash browns, whatever. And as a breakfast sandwich, these are perfect, 100%.
Yeah. So go buy it. Next up is the Violife brand smoked provolone cheese, which we just tried today also. So it's fresh in the mind and
Yes.
chef's kiss. Mwah.
Yeah. Yeah. Fuck yeah. Hell yeah.
It's got it has the texture and the taste of provolone
Yeah.
cheese.
I'm usually very on the fence with the vegan cheese slices, like eating them cold. They just tend to, I don't know, a lot of the brands have just a little bit of a chalky texture that really turns me off when I'm
Yeah,
just
there's
eating
like
them as cold slices.
grit
Yeah.
or like a rubberiness
Yeah.
that is unpleasant.
So far, all of the Violife slices that we've had, I've really liked. When it comes to using them on a sandwich, the smoked provolone cheese is absolutely the best one I've ever had so far.
I think we should try to grill it.
Yes, I would love to grill it.
Or I feel like you could even kind of cut them into strips. I feel like it would be good if you tried to make a mozzarella stick
Ooh.
kind of because it's right for it. If you tried it, you know.
Yeah, no, that's a really good idea. We should absolutely try to make some mozzarella adjacent sticks, some cheese sticks. Yeah, just cheese sticks. There we go.
Yeah. Yeah, so fresh AF on the
Yes.
Violife. I mean,
10 out of
Violife has
10.
never disappointed me, so I wasn't expecting it to be bad, but I also wasn't expecting it to be over the top amazing either. Oh, the next one's yours
Yeah.
because I didn't try this one.
Yeah, I only picked up one of these because I wasn't sure. And so this is a yogurt. It's the Silk Dark Chocolate Coconut flavor almond milk yogurt. I only grabbed the one because I have a tendency when it comes to like individual yogurts, I have a tendency to forget about them and they spoil a whole big thing. So I just grabbed one so I could try it pretty much immediately. And I had it with some flax and pumpkin seed granola and absolute 10 out of 10. The at least specifically this flavor, the dark chocolate coconut, I think is honestly my favorite vegan yogurt now. That was mind blowing. It's a little on the pricey side. I'm not sure if you can get that flavor in bulk. I think it comes out to like $1.70 maybe or something like that per yogurt cup, and obviously there's not a ton in there. But as like a quick treat,
Was it really that much?
I think so. It was at least $1.50 for
That
a
sounds
single
more
thing.
right. That seems like
Yeah,
on par with the other vegan yogurts
yeah. Which I
because
mean,
Silk is kind of. I thought it was more affordable, but I didn't see how much it was. So
yeah, I'm pretty positive it was between 150 and 175. I'll double check the next time we go.
yeah,
But regardless, it was, a little pricey per serving, but I absolutely love it. If I am going to pick up single things of yogurt, that's absolutely what I'm going for from now on. 10 out of 10. Very fresh potato.
yeah. I have a question for you.
Yes.
So my personal favorite yogurt is the soy yogurts,
Hmm.
which we've had a billion times. So I'm there's no way you haven't had it. Is it as thick
Yes.
as because I've found in the past that some of the almond milk yogurts were kind of runny and
Yeah,
not
this had
not
almost
yogurty.
almost like almost a fluffiness to it.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was. I would honestly say that this is somewhere between a yogurt and a pudding, almost,
Hmm.
because it's dark chocolate
Yeah,
coconut.
I'm gonna have to
Um,
get one for myself the next time we go.
yeah, this is one of those things. Like, if I wish there was a way for me to just like petition Silk to have them make the big containers, similar to how I usually get the almond breeze vanilla yogurt that I have with my granola. I get that in the, what is that, a quart container?
Something like that.
Yeah, it's more than a pint, I think.
It's definitely more than a pint. I'm pretty sure it's a quart.
Yeah. Yeah, if they made the silk dark chocolate coconut in a quart, I would be buying the fuck out of it every time we went to the store.
So, yeah, 10 out of 10, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Moving on, I think this is the last one we
Hmm.
have. We tried the Tofurkey brand bologna, which sounds weird. I know everybody has some weird thing against bologna, but growing up when I was a kid, um, my grandma pretty much exclusively only served bologna and cheese sandwiches. And so I have a lot of bologna experience. And I really thought it was the flavor was spot on without the weird sliminess that, and I don't know if this is true of, because I never had like bologna that you get sliced from the deli. She would always buy the Oscar Mayer
Yeah, like the
in the,
plastic
yeah,
package.
with the weird yellow.
Yeah, it's like the blister pack with the peel off.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly. So, but that one kind of gave you like a weird film in your mouth.
Yeah, I hated that shit.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, I personally never really liked bologna as a kid. We didn't really have it in my home at all, but whenever I'd go visit my cousins, my aunt would always make bologna and cheese, and it was same thing, the Oscar Mayer bologna, or it might have been the deli bologna from ShopRite or something. I can't remember, but it was always specifically made with the Kraft American singles, the
Ew.
specifically the yellow American singles, which is straight up my least favorite cheese in the world.
I mean,
Uh,
if you could even call it that, they don't even call
well,
it
yeah,
that.
it's
It's
not
like
even.
cheese food product
Yeah.
or some shit.
So yeah, and the Kraft yellow singles had their own kind of unique film action going, similar to bologna. At least in the '90s, the Kraft singles did. So the combination of the two warring oils kind of was just unpleasantly burned into my memory. And the tofurkey bologna is like the deli meat equivalent of getting the eternal sunshine of the spotless mind treatment to erase said memory. I very much like the tofurkey bologna. I don't know if I'd necessarily call it like a 10 out of 10. Like I wouldn't take a bite out of that bologna and be like, "Oh, this is the best food." It's the best version of bologna, including real bologna that I've ever had. I really like it on sandwiches. I had it with or we both had it with the tofurkey peppered turkey, was it?
Yeah.
And the Eve's salami, which both of those we've had
Oh, I
plenty of
didn't put
times
any of that
before.
on mine.
Oh, yeah, I put those on mine. And yeah, fantastic to go with that. I'd say by itself 8 out of 10 or 7 or 8 out of 10. I could definitely just sit there and eat slices of it on a sandwich with other stuff. 10 out of 10, fantastic. I like it a lot.
I give it a 10 out of 10 because it hits that like childhood nostalgia thing for me, um, without it being actual bologna.
Yeah, definitely fresh potato.
Fresh potato, faux show. We do have a couple things that we have to try. We bought so much shit that um, it's rolling over into the following week. So we still have the Eve's brand veggie pepperoni, which I think we actually tried once before, but like a really long time ago, and I don't remember what it tasted like.
Yeah,
So,
I honestly can't remember. We haven't had like a veggie pepperoni in a while, but we've had a few in the distant past, and I honestly can't remember if this is one we had before. But we've had really good luck with the Eve's products so far. The Eve's salami is awesome, and
mhm.
salami is just pepperoni's big boy cousin. So I can't see their veggie pepperoni being bad.
Yeah, I have high hopes. We also have the Alpha ground sausage, which I'm excited about.
Yeah,
Um,
given the success with their chicken patties, the sausage I've got very high hopes for.
yeah. And then finally we have the Violife Parmesan. It's a block of Parmesan that you grate yourself.
Yeah, this I'm very excited for. I don't know why, but like just the concept of actually having a block of cheese to use with a cheese grater or like a cheese slicer for some reason that just really hits a sweet spot for me. So yeah, I'm really excited to use that.
Yeah, me too. Oh, we do have some recipes. I don't know if we want to call it recipes, but just some random stuff we ate during the week that's worth mentioning. So mark your calendars, everyone. This past Sunday, I don't know, I don't remember what the date is. Um, I ate my first salad, my first full real, well, real if you could call it that, salad with I didn't pick out any of the lettuce. I didn't gag.
Mm-hmm.
I was a little bit dramatic about it, but I recovered and I ate the whole thing.
Yeah, I can back this up. I can
I
promise.
took some really unflattering photos of me with the
Oh my
salad.
God. Yeah, no, I got some real good ones. Maybe I'll sneak them onto the Instagram when you're sleeping one night. But yeah, I will back this up. 100% transparency. Like if she was trying to bullshit you on eating the salad, I'd call her out in the recording. Even if she tried to edit it out, I would wind up in the post editing putting in my own narrated call out. 100%. She ate the salad. She made no shitty faces. This was this wasn't just a historic event. This was historic enough to elicit the snobbery of using the proper "an historic event." You got to hit it with the hard "an" to
Is that a thing?
yeah. If you ever listen to historians, they will, or people in documentaries and shit like that, they'll never say a historic event. If it's something of importance, they're referred to as an historic event. Don't know why.
That hurts me
It's
to hear.
it is aggravating, but they're locked in it for some
Okay.
reason, and I think that this deserves the an historic treatment. This was a big day.
Yeah. So, and then for the big letdown, this was a taco salad. So it was lettuce underneath all of the fixings of a taco.
Hey, you had like a full. Is that technically a head of romaine or whatever lettuce it was?
It was a romaine heart.
Romaine heart. So
Yeah.
you had a full romaine heart's worth of lettuce,
Yeah.
which is a vast improvement over no lettuce ever.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, so we had some leftover Beyond Meat, like the beef that comes in the block
Mm-hmm.
thing. And so I sauteed that with some taco seasoning, and then we just did beans and corn.
Yeah.
And then the the reason I even bring this up at all is because the dressing.
That fucking dressing.
Yeah. Um I'll link the recipe in the show notes. It's another one from, I mentioned them before, Monkey and Me Kitchen Adventures. I think it's just called taco dressing. And it's literally just cashews, water, and, or I don't know if it was water or almond milk. Um, and then, just some Mexican esque spices. And it was a hit. I
Mm-hmm.
We didn't even put anything cheesy on
Yeah.
because it didn't need it because the dressing was creamy and it's only a little bit of cashews. Like it's not the ones where it's like a super thick, like it is cashew with other stuff in it. Like,
Yeah.
um, so yeah, it was really good. And I feel like that was what made the salad edible for me because it was basically like cover it in spice.
Yeah. I mean, I would have enjoyed the salad without the dressing regardless, but that really that really brought it to another level. It's definitely one of those things that I feel like that's like a Swiss Army knife. That dressing, I feel like we could put that over pretty much anything,
Yeah,
and
I would eat it on anything.
yeah,
I would like
extremely good.
dip like vegan chicken nuggets in it
Yeah,
or
like
like
I feel like we could easily just throw a block of tofu, cut cube up a block of tofu in the air fryer and just dip it in that stuff, and it would be fantastic.
Yeah, I'm into that. So yeah, the my first salad was a success ultimately. And then Wednesday we had another successful dinner with friends where we everything remained vegan and no one made comments and everything was fine except for Brendan had a little mishap later in the evening.
A little bread disaster. Yes, a funny story. So we had picked up for our friends who are not vegan. We picked up a box of just some normie ass Texas toast garlic bread for them to eat, and we had leftover crusty Italian bread from the bakery of our local grocery store that we had bought about a week prior that we had with vegan butter for ourselves. The I can't remember. Was it the Melt vegan butter or something like
Yeah,
that?
that's what we have
Melt.
right now.
Yeah,
Also very good
that
if
is
you
very
haven't
good.
tried it.
Yeah, we forgot to list that one earlier.
I can't remember if it's palm oil free or not
Yeah, I
because we stopped using Earth Balance for that reason.
yes,
Um,
and I'd say this is the Melt. I don't like quite as much as the Miyoko's. That is the gold standard for me.
yeah,
But
agreed.
it was very good. Spread super easy. I'd say it's better than the Earth Balance at least. Regardless, so Amanda had cut the bread and discovered some mold on the loaf. So she set aside the slices that were untouched by the mold, and we ate that remaining good bread. The thing is, I wasn't paying attention when she noticed the mold situation, and that chunk of the bread was still just out on the cutting board. And a couple hours later, I was back in the kitchen just chatting with my buddy, inebriated. We were in the middle of working on our last beers of the night, and I grabbed that remaining chunk of bread and wasn't really paying attention, and I just worked on it for a bit without really looking at it. So it wasn't until the end of the night when we were cleaning up that we caught what I had done.
Well, I was telling you that I cut the. It was just where the bread creased on the side. There was like a tiny bit of mold, like right in the crease, and I had cut that off. And I took the pieces that had the moldy crease that I had cut off, and then I gave you the regular good bread, and I had just left the little pieces, like like I'm talking.
Like chunks of bread like you'd throw at a duck.
Yes, but don't do that. Um, So I was telling him like, "Oh, well, I took the shitty moldy bread and I just cut the pieces off." And he looked at me like I had just like shot him in the stomach or something and he was like, "You didn't tell me that the bread on the cutting board was moldy and I ate it?" So I was just like, "I did tell you, but you weren't listening."
Yep. So yeah, I for the rest of the evening until we went to bed, I was just paranoid that I was gonna like get fucked on bread mold and start some ergot fueled witch trials. Uh, I I did wake up with a bit of a froggy stomach in the morning, but I did not get sick. Uh, Ultimately, I'm sure I ate very little mold, but just the
It's
fact that
penicillin.
yeah, but yeah, just the fact that I had eaten visible mold was it put me off for a little bit.
Yeah, sorry about that, even though it was your own fault because you didn't listen to me tell
Yeah,
you
I'm sorry
that
to
I cut the
myself.
mold off. um, yeah, so after that riveting story, the next day, I had discovered on Instagram, uh, vegan proteins. They, I don't know if it's still like a protein, like a vegan proteins website or what the deal is anymore. We actually got to hear them talk at the New England Veg Fest a few years ago.
Oh, that's right. I forgot this
Yeah.
was those people.
And yeah, so on her YouTube channel, she has a recipe for a 5-minute seitan where you just it's just seitan, nutritional yeast, and peanut butter powder, like PB2. I didn't have any of that, so I used garbanzo bean flour.
Yeah, which we we usually do have PB2 on hand. I really enjoy adding it to smoothies and stuff, but because I enjoy using it, I had used all of it,
Yeah.
and yeah.
But and I put a little bit of poultry seasoning in it. And all you do is just like mix it all together with some water and slap it on. We have the griddler, but you can use like a George Foreman or, some kind of panini press type situation. And you just leave it for 5 minutes. And then you have a beautiful chickeny flavored pancake looking thing that is the texture is spot on,
Hmm.
and it is so much easier than all of the other seitan recipes. Like, I don't make seitan very often because I don't feel like doing it half the time. It's not complicated. It's just like, it's basically the protein from uh flour. So you don't knead it like bread,
Yeah.
and I don't feel like doing that.
Yeah, I was really shocked because I've seen you prepare seitan in the past, and like you said, it was always a big process. So when you said that this was a 5 minute seitan, I thought maybe 5 minutes of actual cooking time, but with the same kind of laborious preparation. So when I you went downstairs to start preparing it, I was dicking around doing something for just a few minutes, and I came downstairs expecting to see you, kneading seitan, and it was already pretty much done on the griddler. And I'll admit, it's a little like weird seeing it at first because it looks like a thick pancake, but it smells and tastes like chicken.
I think I should do it on the grill side next time so it has like grill marks. So it kind of
That
has
might
the
be,
visual uh,
yeah, more visual.
appeal
Yeah.
of. I
Um,
don't find chicken breast visually appealing, but you know what I mean.
True.
It
Yeah. But regardless of just initial presentation, I wind up cutting up pretty much everything that I'm eating and mashing it into a bowl like a madman anyway. So yeah, I just toss mine around in the rice, and there was another romaine heart left over, so I shredded that for myself at least. So I had, I guess, essentially another burrito bowl type thing. Or what I wound up throwing in it was spring roll sauce for mine, and all mixed together, the rice, the seitan, and whatever else was in it with the spring roll sauce made it taste like the inside of like a chicken egg roll or something like that. It was really good.
Yeah, and I me being the simpleton of the meal, I just put barbecue sauce on mine and had the rice on the side, and it was fine. And did I put a vegetable on the side? No, I didn't. But
Hey, we had one
I ate a
big
salad this week,
victory. Yeah.
so I get a pass
Yeah.
for the rest of the week.
And I don't think there was anything else super like particularly noteworthy that we ate this week.
No,
Um,
I ate a lot of hummus toast.
Ooh,
That
that was
was
another fun thing on our sandwiches that we made with the veggie deli meats today. We smeared some hummus on those as well, and that was awesome.
I actually think the hummus is important to mention because it's a recipe for an oil-free hummus, and this is the
Yes.
first recipe for oil-free hummus that has ever been tolerable to me, and I would say it tastes better than like regular, the hummus you buy at the store.
Yes, 100%.
Um
I am shocked by how good the oil-free hummus is
yeah, there's still tahini in it, so it's not fat-free, but I don't
still.
care about that.
Yeah. And yeah, we're not trying to go fat-free or anything like that, but I don't think there's any discernible difference between this and a hummus that has oil in it. There's no loss to
No,
it.
when I was still in school, if I would like go study with people, I would always bring the hummus and everybody would eat it.
Yeah. Oh, another thing with the seitan, I don't know if you said this already, but I don't remember what the exact like nutrition facts on it were, but didn't it,
Oh, the macros. There's I think it was like 1.5 grams of fat.
which is not much at all.
There weren't It was really low in carbs, which also I'm not worried about, but if anybody out there is one of those people who worries about carbs,
Yeah.
and then it was 40 grams of protein.
40 grams of protein and like a single pancake size thing of the seitan, which is one person's serving.
Yeah,
That
and it's
that's
a
awesome.
large serving.
Yeah.
Like that could be if you did, a grain and a vegetable. Like that's a meal right there.
Yeah, absolutely. I was blown away that was because typically something like that, if we bought a pre-made boxed thing of that size that was 40 grams of vegan protein, I feel like it would be insanely dense and dry and just generally not appetizing, but in
Appetizing.
appetizing, a tipper deck.
A part
Um,
tipper deck.
uh, but yeah, this didn't taste like I was eating, a protein food, like a protein based product or something like that. A fitness weightlifting kind of uh promoted item.
Yeah, it tastes good,
Yeah.
and that's what matters.
And then only other thing I can think of, it's not something that's new to us, but for desserts, if any of you have the vegan the vegan Ben and Jerry's stuff at your local grocery stores, look for the creme brulee cookie one.
Oh yeah.
That is the best ice cream I've ever had. I absolutely love it. I am addicted to ice cream. That's always been like a huge weakness of mine. I used to regularly put down an entire pint of ice cream in one sitting. So going to the vegan ice creams was a bit of a challenge for me, like a long time ago. But yeah, the creme brulee cookie is the best shit I've ever had.
Yeah. You want to move on to, or is there any other food stuff you wanted to talk about?
No, I'm good. I'm good on
Yeah,
food.
I think we covered it. I am very excited to talk about exercise this time because we actually nailed it this week. Real proud.
Words I never thought we would be saying, at least this early on.
Yeah, definitely. Um, we alternated. I think we mentioned this in the last episode that we were going to do this. But we alternated days between yoga and the Joanna So step challenge. Um, so the only thing I think I would have changed is maybe I would have upped the intensity of the yoga that we did.
Yeah.
Well, the first day I stupidly was like, "Oh, let's do this one's called like cozy yoga," and Brendan actually literally fell asleep
Yeah, and I,
on
I
his
had
yoga
I had
mat.
specifically stated, let's do one that's kind of easy, but not like a sleepy pre-bed yoga. And she's like, oh, how about this like cozy feel yoga or whatever? And it's like, that sounds like a sleepy one. And he's like, no, it doesn't say bedtime yoga. Like,
I don't know. And
okay.
then we turn on it was a yoga with Adriene video, and we turn on the video and she's like, "Grab your pillow and your blanket." And I was like,
And I gave
"Oh."
you a look. I thought you were gonna kind of admit defeat and go to
No,
something else,
never.
but no. And yeah, at the end of it, it's not. I didn't fall asleep like halfway through. It was the last like 3 to 5 minutes or whatever of the video are corpse pose, shavasana. So you're just laying flat on your back with just everything outstretched, and you're just breathing. And I did a real good job of that
Yeah.
because I woke up to Amanda asking me if I was in fact asleep.
And yep, you definitely were. Yeah, so next time I definitely think I'm not gonna leave it to chance on the days that we're gonna do something. Like I'm gonna pick things ahead of time
Yeah.
to
Um,
vet them and make sure that it's something we want to do.
yeah. The second yoga video we did was an improvement, though. That one was a low intensity one. You know, it's a yoga, another yoga with Adrian, but it was like a yoga for beginners. But it was a 40-minute yoga video, which is a bit longer than what we usually do.
I
And
really liked that one though.
that one I really liked because it wasn't difficult poses, but it was a lot of uh, remaining balanced for long periods at a time. So really putting a lot of focus on your grounding and stability. So my especially from doing the step challenges, that really helped me kind of focus on nurturing my connective tissue in my knees, really helping me open up and strengthen my like the my adductors. Um, yeah, I felt like that really opened up my hips and everything. That was a really good one. And even though it was low intensity, by the end of it, I was sweating plenty.
Yeah, definitely. Well, and I think it was useful to us specifically because we had been doing yoga very regularly for a number of months, up until probably about a month ago. And the video we did focused on uh, keeping your foundation like solid.
Yeah.
And I think it was a good way to get back into it. So, like you're not messing up your wrists or your knees or any of the other areas that tend to get strained when you first start doing yoga again. Because I know that you had floated the idea of going right back into the ones we had been doing.
Hmm.
And my thought was like, I don't know, because
Yeah, because those,
they
there's
all
the
they were all building on each other, and to just jump
exactly.
right back into something, I wouldn't call it advanced. I would say probably like a more intermediate
Yeah, but yeah,
level.
the point that we were at in that playlist, I definitely, yeah, I'd say fairly in the realm of intermediate stuff. Getting into what was it, crow and stuff like that.
Yeah, and some
Um,
like shoulder stands and stuff like that.
yeah,
Um, yeah, so nailed it.
yeah, and um, actually, I'll get more into that on like the next segment that we're doing. But yeah, we stuck through. We did 5 straight days, and at no point did I feel like we overdid it,
Yeah.
nor did it seem like we were skimping at any point. Versus, or with the exception of me falling asleep during yoga.
Yeah, and we had intended to yesterday would have been the 6th day, and we intended yesterday would have been a yoga day, but we were messing around with some technical stuff for the earlier episodes of the podcast, and then we ended up staying up until, like, past midnight, so it was just, like, a wash yesterday.
Yeah.
But, today we'll probably end up doing something, right?
Yep.
And,
And I'm
ooh,
sorry.
jinx. Nah, I don't know what I was gonna say, so you can go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to ask about your little gift for yourself that you ordered.
Oh, my little purchase that I was like, "No, I'm not gonna buy it," and then I bought it.
Yes.
I'm not gonna do it. I did it. Um, yeah, so, well, it's for both of us.
Oh yeah.
Uh, I ordered resistance bands from, Kenzie Fitness on Instagram. Uh, I had been looking at ones on Amazon, and they're always and I do have a set of resistance bands from Amazon, but they're the, like, that rubbery, and God forbid if you use them in shorts, it'll rip if you have a suggestion of leg hair, forget it. Like, totally
Yeah.
horrible, horrendous, horrible, horrendous. um, and these ones are like the cloth like woven kind of.
Yeah, which I don't think I've actually seen that style before. So I'm excited to use those because while like you were saying, the normal resistance bands will torture you if you have the slightest bit of stubble on your legs. I have caveman legs.
Right.
So I tried using those bands to do squats one day, and I honestly thought it was going to tear out a ring of leg hair on each side.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to give these a shot.
Yeah, and I also got I got 3 of like the small, they go around your legs kind of resistance bands, and then I also got a set of 3 longer ones. So we can do other, arm workouts and things like that with the longer ones, which I'm really excited about because I do nothing we've done in the past, like since we started the podcast, has been any heavy lifting, but that was
Hmm.
something we did in the past and I really miss it. But honestly, with everything, the pandemic and like Planet Fitness is open, but I
Yeah,
don't trust like that. So,
yeah. I never felt too great about the height or the sanitation at Planet Fitness in the first place.
especially like in the weight area, because, nobody's really wiping down the dumbbell handles or
Well, not
anything
only
like
that,
that.
I would watch people barely like they would have their own rag and they would use a bench over in the freeway area and then not even go and spray the bench. They would just
Yeah, wipe it with
stand
a
up and
towel.
hit it with their towel that they've been using for their sweat all night. It's goddamn disgusting.
Yeah.
I don't want to tango with that, especially during a pandemic.
Well, and also with I personally really liked the cable machines. And nobody ever cleaned they have the rack of different handles
Hmm.
for the cable machine. I never saw anyone clean those handles
Yeah.
ever. So not for me. So hopefully the resistance bands will be a good stand-in until I feel safer to go to the gym.
Yeah, which I mean, ultimately, maybe a midterm goal for myself anyway is to slowly build back up our gym equipment because
Yeah.
I used to have a huge bench, like an adjustable bench with the dumbbells, barbells. It was a um, like a bench press setup. It had squat handles on the back of it, whole nine. But I got rid of that before we moved up to
Yeah,
New
there was
Hampshire.
when the place we moved to, we didn't have anywhere
Yeah,
to put it, so we had to get rid of it, unfortunately.
yeah.
But
So I want to slowly start amassing that stuff again, so that we can just forget about the gym. Because it was funny. I always felt that if we just had home gym stuff, that I wouldn't actually feel the drive to get up and do it at home. It's like almost like a feeling of accountability in going out and doing the exercise.
yeah.
I was afraid of, basically falling into the coat rack rut with
Hmm.
the gym equipment. But since the pandemic hit and our exercise has been limited to doing it at home, I actually feel a lot more drive to do our workouts every day because you can just ride the wave of if you feel that split second of motivation, like,
Yeah,
oh,
you can just we come upstairs and turn on a video or whatever you want to do, and
exactly.
you're doing it. You don't have to get your gym clothes on and get
Yeah.
the car. I mean, obviously not now because it's August, but if this was like January, you got to warm up the car. You got to get all your water and stuff, make sure your headphones are charged.
Deal
And
with the parking lot.
yeah, the parking lot we actually go to the original, like the first Planet Fitness that ever was, and it is packed all the time.
Yep.
Doesn't matter what time of day it is. Like you're contending. It's a big one, but it's still like
It's still I've been to, because of touring with my band, I've been to Planet Fitnesses all over the country. And at first I thought this was like one of the premier setups, but especially out west, the Planet Fitnesses out there are way better than what
oh,
we have here. This is, I would say, the best one that I've seen in the like greater northeast
well, they just
section of the
remodeled
country.
ours too, like a couple of years ago.
Yeah,
Like they gutted it and redid everything.
yeah. but there's definitely better ones out there. And I know it's really cheap. It's $20 a month for the Black Card membership. I will definitely want to have that for when live music exists again. But for the time being, I have no incentive whatsoever to keep my membership going there.
Yeah, at least for now.
Yep.
Um, I think eventually I would like to invest in going to like a higher priced gym. I think
Yes.
I think that, when it's even $20 a month, I don't really notice the $20 over the course of the month disappearing.
Yep.
And I think that if I invested more in it, I would probably go more often.
Yeah.
But that's a conversation for when we're not in a global pandemic.
Yeah.
Um, so what's the plan for next week?
Um,
Did we? I think we talked about this, but I don't remember what we decided.
yeah. So next week we are for our kind of active rest days. We're still going to stick to yoga, but we are going to try to pick ones that are more aimed at the skill level that we're at, so that there's a little bit of a challenge, but we don't hurt ourselves on what's supposed to be active rest.
Yeah.
And then I think we were talking about doing Joanna So videos again, but she has ones that are a step up from the
Oh
step
yeah, it
challenge
was
videos that we were
level
doing.
up from the 10,000 step challenge. Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, we're basically doing the same thing we're doing this week, just adding a level of intensity,
Yeah.
which I think is good because I mean it was Shark Week for me this week, so my energy was kind of low. Uh, kind of felt like the Michelin Man throwing my weight around when we were exercising at times,
Yeah.
and next week I think I'll be able to put more into it rather than just kind of doing it in survival mode.
Yeah.
So
And yeah, I feel like by the last time that we did the kind of phase one Joanna So step challenge video, it was I was still breaking a sweat. I was still working, but it was getting easy enough to the point where, admittedly, it was letting me kind of goof around a little bit, which is fun. It keeps it light, it keeps it entertaining. But I was doing some
it wasn't at the
Christopher
the
Walken.
top of our effort.
Yeah, I was doing some during the sidestep segments. I was kind of resorting to uh, was it late '90s, early 2000s Christopher Walken
In
in
the
the Fat Boy Slim music video
Yes,
"Weapon of Choice."
you
Just
can go
dancing around the
this, or
mall.
you could go with that.
Yes.
You could go with this.
um, but yeah, so it'll be good, kind of kicking it up a little bit without jumping into something that's too huge of a step.
Yeah,
Um, so yeah, so we laid out what we're trying to do exercise wise for next week. So I know we started to kind of dip into this, but let's hit what worked for us and what didn't work.
yeah.
What do you feel worked for you?
Well, we just talked about this, but the exercise absolutely worked for me. Um, I feel like a different person when we're doing exercise. And it's not like, we're spending exorbitant amounts of time exercising, but it really sets the tone for my motivation for other things.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and like productivity and, a body in motion tends to stay in motion.
Yeah.
And the difference is really kind of amazing for me when I on weeks or days even where I'm exercising versus when I'm not. The other thing is I've finally started to repair my sleep schedule a little bit. Um, this past Monday was the day where I think I woke up at 12:30 and I was like, you know what, this I got to do something about this.
Yeah.
So I went to the store and I got the nighty night extra strength tea, and
Yeah, fuck it up.
Wow, like it really works. I I had my doubts because I've definitely, they have like the celestial seasonings, the sleepy time tea or whatever.
Hmm.
I can't tell you how many times I've drank that tea and then stayed up all night. So I was just kind of like, you know what, this is like a formal gesture that I'm getting ready to go to bed for the night. And I think I drank it at like 8:30, and by 9 o'clock I was like, bye.
Yeah, I definitely.
I just got up and went to bed.
Yeah, I was able to witness the process of it kicking in for you. It definitely seemed like it did a good job.
Yeah, and so I've been drinking that nightly, and it's been really working out for me, and I've been waking up at reasonable hours, and I think it can only go up from here. So I'm hopeful on the on my sleep for right now. And then the last thing for me was that I talked about this last week. I was struggling with my water intake and my vitamins, and I really stayed on top of it.
I actually personally forgot to take vitamins at all this week.
Well, we can't all be gems,
Yeah.
as they say. That sounds mean,
It's all right. I know what you're saying.
but yeah, and so I think it's just like one of those things where like if you start doing one thing, the other things tend to fall into place. And I think for me, that was the exercise. That was the catalyst for the other things.
Yeah, I could see that.
So yeah, overall, I felt it like it was a really good week for me.
Awesome. Yeah, this past week worked in pretty much every way for me. I kept up on my water intake. I kept my coffee intake down. That's actually been going a lot easier than I expected. We remained 100% vegan with no real cravings. There was a moment on our Spaghetti Wednesday with our friends at the end of the night when everybody was gone. They had left like two slices of the like actual butter garlic bread out, and we sat there staring at the slices for a good minute. But we did successfully abstain.
Yeah, and it wasn't even like I was looking at them with anger
Yeah, with me,
because I told them to take them home and they didn't. And I
yes,
was like, now you have faced me with either eating them and feeling guilty or throwing them in the trash and also feeling guilty.
yeah. I always have that kind of poverty mindset where wasting food just feels inhuman to me. So even though it's something that I truly don't want to eat, shouldn't be eating, I'll still stare at it with the urge to eat it just so it's just not going in the trash. But we have a compost set up now, so that kind of removes a good portion
Yeah,
of
we
the
put
guilt
it in the
from that.
compost and everything was right with the world.
Yes. So yeah, 100% vegan, no real cravings. And like we've been saying, we did 5 straight days of activity, which for us is huge.
Yeah.
And even though 2 of those days were more active rest with the yoga, it's still activity, and that really made a huge difference for me. I feel like I've already regained the majority of the mobility that I had lost since we had stopped doing the yoga for so long. And by the third session of that Joanna So step challenge, like I was saying before, I felt like I could pretty easily sail through without feeling nearly as winded, to the point where I was doing shitty Christopher Walken dancing. I mean, his dancing is fantastic. My dancing is a pale imitation.
It
Um,
was beautiful. Don't let him lie to you.
that pretty much sums up the kind of the high points for me, what I felt really worked out well for me. As for what's not working, was there anything that you felt just didn't quite click for you?
There's one thing, and this has been weighing on me pretty much since the beginning. Um, I think, like I had initially planned, I really would like to make the switch to more whole food vegan meals. Um, I know this week kind of happened because we got like way too excited at the grocery store for all the fun and fancy vegan food.
Yeah, that was
Um,
like our supermarket sweep week.
and yeah, and I don't necessarily feel bad. It just feels like there's something missing, you know? Like
Vegetables.
yes, or even fruit. I mean, like
Shit,
we
yeah, we have not really been eating fruit.
we haven't we haven't been having any smoothies because we keep forgetting to buy bananas.
Yes.
And I feel like that kind of anchored my day for nutrients. Even when I wasn't eating well, if I had a smoothie, it felt a little better,
Yeah.
you know? And yeah, so I'm missing my smoothies, and I think I'm finally getting to the point where I am tolerating vegetables more and more, to the point where I almost am like, I think I should be eating that instead of like what I'm eating.
Yeah, you know that you're approaching the right mindset when it's not a matter of like I I know I should be eating more, but instead actually thinking like
That's what I actually
I
want.
yeah. I think that's a big step.
Yeah. Especially for, you know, someone who is unversed in vegetables as me. But yeah, really that's the only thing, and that's obviously a very easy fix. So, what about you? Anything not working?
Uh I mean, this past week I felt like everything pretty much worked for me. I kept um yeah, I kind of kept up on most of my like promises to myself, stuff like that. The scale didn't show much progress for me this week, which we'll get into those numbers in a second. But I am more focused on feeling better and stronger, and focusing on the visible changes versus just the pounds reflected on the scale. And B, flat out, our scale is unreliable. Like we said in a previous episode, we had a really nice high end scale that like synced up with an app and everything. That one broke. We switched back to using an old ass like $10.
Just like
Uh,
digital
yeah,
scale. I think it's Walgreens brand.
yeah. And I can stand on it 3 times in a row and get different results each time. Also, I think I have to put more effort into knocking out my water consumption while I'm at work, or at least actively making myself drink more while I'm home. Because if I don't get in my full day's worth of water while I'm at work, the remaining portion of my giant water bottle tends to go untouched until I chug the remainder right before bed. And I don't know if that actually helps with hydration if you're just chugging it right before going to bed. Maybe it does. I don't know. Regardless, though, I should be trying to drink more consistently throughout the day, or at least get it in early so I'm not basically dried up for the entire middle of the day. Aside from that, though, there's nothing. Oh, and like I mentioned before, I forgot to take vitamins at all. I do need to start doing that again. I do feel better when I take vitamins. Aside from that, everything seemed to be going pretty well, though.
Yeah, baby steps,
Yes.
and we're taking them. Yeah. So you want to move on to progress?
Yeah.
Um. So for me personally, I don't know if the weekly weigh-ins feel productive for me. I think it's I think it's good for letting the listeners know where we're at, but also like at the same time, like I said, I was on my period this week, and my weight was fluctuating all over the place. So like the one morning I woke up and I was 216, and then I woke up the next day and I was like 221, like which was my starting weight. And it's like I don't know if I can fluctuate. Like I don't know if that's the problem with the scale or if that was because I was bloating or anything like that. Um so yeah, I'm not really sure how to address that going forward. I guess getting a better scale might be how to address that going forward.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I started at 221. When I weighed myself yesterday, I was at 216. Um, and so that was a little less than a pound. 216.6. From last week, I was at 217. Um, I think I'm losing inches, but I don't think it's productive for us to measure ourselves every week either.
Yeah, I think every other week is
Or
probably,
even I was thinking like once a month.
yeah. Yeah, so when we started off, I was at 222. Last week, I was 218.8. This week, like we were saying, it's a little hard to get a real gauge because it really seems like that scale is losing its gusto. Um, my most stable weight that it would read this week was 218, so zero point 0.8 pounds down from last week, which I think is close to the same loss that I'd had from the week before that. So it's fairly consistent. Which, a pound a week, honestly, that's not bad for me. I think, isn't that supposed to be considered like a healthy rate of weight loss?
Yeah, 1 to 2 pounds a week
Yeah.
is like the suggested.
And, it's a marathon, not a sprint. So the numbers moving down, I am feeling better. I'm feeling more flexible. I'm not going to complain about how I didn't lose more than a certain amount.
It's not like we were eating super like 100% whole food plant based and doing rigorous workouts like 5 times a week, and we aren't seeing like, you know, big weight loss. Like, we're just taking small steps and they appear to be working at
Yeah,
this point. But yeah, so I think that's everything in terms of progress so far. Slow but steady, right? Yeah.
absolutely.
And yeah, so I think that's everything we have for you this week. Next week is going to be a little bit of a different one because we're traveling for the second half of the week.
Hmm.
Um, we're going to go visit Brendan's mom. And so, what I'm going to do is try to plan and prep our meals here and bring them down there to prepare. I think it'll be easier on everyone. I think
Yep.
your mom will probably be relieved that she doesn't have to cook for us.
Yeah.
So that should work out fine, but we'll see how it goes. And yeah, I'm excited about that.
But yeah, so as of the time of recording this, we are actually about to post the first two episodes, which are episode 0
Yay!
and episode 1. And we are very excited to finally get some of these episodes out there.
Yes.
It feels almost a bit surreal to have the podcast become real, so to speak.
Well, yeah, it's not just sitting on my hard drive
Yeah.
and only us and our roommate hearing it ever.
Yeah. So I am still teaching myself how to edit these. Amanda takes care of kind of editing the time on them, taking out,
I edit them for content and he edits them for sound.
yes. And I have never really messed with this stuff before, so I'm teaching myself how to edit in Reaper while we're doing these. So yeah, do you want to hit them with those socials, my sweets?
Yeah. So follow us on Instagram. We're at Cucumbersome Podcast. My Instagram story game has been pretty exciting lately. Oh, I forgot to talk about this when I talked about the 5-minute seitan. I posted it on my Instagram stories, and Vegan Proteins reposted it to their stories, and I had a moment of like, oh, senpai noticed me.
Yes.
So that was really cool. Yeah, so I mean, I pretty much do all the Instagram stuff, so you can come hang out with me. It'll be super fun and super cool. You can subscribe to us on YouTube.
Maybe.
Maybe. Yeah. So last week I discovered our channel isn't searchable. So hopefully by the time this goes up, we'll have that straightened out. But it is just Cucumbersome on YouTube. You can email us with any questions, comments, concerns. We'd love to hear from you guys. So that's cucumbersomepodcast@gmail.com. And with that, thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you guys soon.
On
Cucumbersome. Oh my god, I think that's the first time we actually did it.
We nailed intro and outro.
We
That's
did it.
awesome. All right,
It
guys.
only
Well,
took 4 episodes.
yeah. So you guys enjoy the rest of your week, and thanks for tuning in. And we will see you next week.
Bye.